Like we're up.
See a
Like
YouTube.
we're up.
See a
Like
YouTube.
we're up. Uh-oh.
See a
Like
YouTube.
we're up. Uh-oh.
See a
Like
YouTube.
we're up. Uh-oh.
See a
Like
YouTube.
we're up.
There we go.
You have to be careful of that. View tab. View tab. Get the tunes going. Here. We are live. All right, well, if you guys are here,
I'm still setting some stuff
if you
up.
guys are here, what I'm setting up is the chill music we're always listening to. Let's see. Sorry to blow everybody's ears out if that just happened. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's get going. If you're new to the stream, I'm Ryan, Eggs. I'm a dev. I like to play video games when I'm not deving. And last night, I created a project with Cursor. The problem with that project, it was great. Set up, it worked fine, had user, get returned from the API. But the problem is, anybody that really watched that stream, you could really tell that there was too much AI doing everything. That's what happens when you use Composer and Cursor. Kind of remove the fun out of coding. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to take it back. We're going to take it back before AI caught on. I said it. The reason why is because back then, you really had to think about what you were doing. You know, Google was there to an extent, but your mind was the piece putting the puzzle together. Your mind was the human putting the puzzle. It makes sense in my head. So what we're going to do, we're not going to make a basic user API this time. We're going to make a LangGraph chatbot API from scratch. I'm going to copy some stuff from an old project, but that's really just to make this a more productive stream. And I will explain the reasoning behind those pieces. So, thanks for coming to the stream. And let's get going. Alright, so like I said, we're going to be putting together a LangGraph API server. So it's just one endpoint that returns the ability to query it and get a response. We're not even going to do streaming. I'll put that for... We're not going to do server-sent events tonight. I will do that on another stream. We will add it to this project, so feel free to follow along. What we are going to do is we're going to return JSON. Keep it easy tonight, and then we're going to keep it chill, play some video games. So let's dive in. I'm going to go ahead and get my terminal booted up. I got to figure out where that is. I always keep forgetting where my terminals go. Alright. Usually the first thing that I'll do is I'll get a teamout session gets set up. Little homie next door. You don't want to go to sleep. It's okay, bud. Alright, so we're gonna get a teamout session set up. We'll call this local AI. It's usually what I like to call these things. I don't have any Docker running. I don't need Docker running. I just like to make sure if there's any containers running on my machine before I get going. So we're going to start up our tmux session, and let's call it local AI. And we're going to split this vertically. And we're going to go to our sandbox folder, and we're going to create our Twitch. Should I let's actually just make Twitch its own folder. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And today, we'll create a project for today. What is today? Today is the 6th. Remember that date. I like to have the year first, and it is not 2024. Don't we all do that? We all do that. Don't deny yourself. We all do that for about at least a month into the year. We will write the previous year wherever by accident, and then we'll remember later. We're gonna go into that folder, and I don't know what else we'll create tonight, but we'll just say LangGraph chat. Lang chat. I can't remember if Lang chat called theirs that way. Egg chat. Eggs chat. We gotta brand it. I guess we could use this. Okay, now let's get into that directory. And like I said, we're not going to use Cursor tonight. We're going to use VS Code. I don't think I have any AIs installed in here, but I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll just see how they're the author of this code. And we'll make it a little bigger for you guys so you can see. Alright, let's get down to biz. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our Python environment. So let's get going. So I have UV, and I highly recommend UV for your Python package manager. I highly recommend UV for your Python package manager. The reason why is because it's built in Rust, and it's very fast. I'm not the Primogen, so I can't say that I did anything in there in Rust lately. I played around with it in the past. Mostly when I was I was getting whipped around trying to learn how to code Anchor for Solana programming. That was so difficult before ChatGPT. This is so relevant to this stream. I have trauma that I'm just realizing from that. And that's why. So when they ask why do you not program daily in Rust, you can look at this stream. I like to not have a headache at the end of programming. So yeah, I'll build things in Python to feel good about myself. But that's pretty much where all the AI stuff is right now anyways. There are some interesting libraries I've seen like a LangChain Go before. Like I said, but UV. Let's go ahead and talk about that. We'll weave back to this. UV, great package manager. Install it, use it. I'll show you how to get started with it. I think you guys saw that, right? Move that here. So we created our virtual environment, but now we need to activate it with our source vim activate. You see it says egg chat over there. I'm really liking that. That might be the startup name. Egg chat. Oh, you know what? I'm not even in the voice Discord. Oh, I gotta turn my virtual camera on in the Discord. Cool. Cool. Well, if you want to join there, feel free to join. I'm hanging out. And you can find the link in the Twitch stream chat. Might have to go retrieve the weenie dog in a minute. Not for me, just to make sure he doesn't wake up Sonny. But we've activated our environment, and then we need to get a few things installed. So the first thing we should probably do is go look at LangGraph. Let's go look what they're asking us to install. We don't really need Langsmith. They may make us install it, but we're going to go ahead and slide everything to the left. And we're going to read from the right and listen to the music. Sleep. Anybody ever listen to Kenny G? That might be something we end up putting on the stream. I could listen to some Kenny G right now. How many streamers out there listen to KG? I'm not making me call myself streamer. Okay. So it says that it's probably going to bug us for this, but we're not going to do it right now. We're not going to give in. And I'm going to go need to add... And it's going to have us create this, but I can very easily just give you a quick out the box. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's why I got it pulled up here. This is my open source repo. If you need anything, just go to it. And then just rip it out of it. Or launch it. Deploy it. You may need it. But the thing I want to rip out of here is a flow. I essentially created this folder for building custom graphs and then sticking them in a file. And then they can just get snapped on and you'll get the same JSON, or you can get a streaming response out of the same endpoint. And you can even switch up the graphs and change them if you want to go and do something different. I have this basic chatbot here, and this is what we're going to run. I'm going to create a file, just called chatbot. We're going to do this right, because that's what this stream is about. We're going to create an SRC folder, or source folder, for source code. And in that folder, we're going to have a chatbot.py. Very exciting. And it's going to say a bunch of gibberish. What's that? I'm going to explain all of this when we actually put that in there. So let's go ahead and install our dependencies. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to prefix a pip command. uv pip install -r. That's all it is. Normally you'll run pip install requirements if you weren't using uv, and it'll just work, and it's that fast. And we need to validate that this is all going to work. And cool, I don't even need to reload the code editor. If you have issues, you can hit Control-Shift-P and come up here and just click that, and it'll probably fix your issue. But now we know that this code is in scope. It's been loaded incorrectly because these were broken before when we had pasted them. The next step is, I mean, we could just compile this and I can show you how it works. So let's go ahead and just create a main file. Then up here, we're going to import our code in from our create chatbot, I think. Chatbot builder, man. Graph builder. It's been a moment since I even started this code. This is what happens when you're a programmer. Like you can write this just yesterday, and sometimes you still have to go recontext yourself into what you were doing. We're not going to be adding tools. We'll do that in another stream. What I'd like to do is just allow you to see how we get a FastAPI server with LangGraph and returning a JSON response with a query. And then the next step would be us to most likely add tools to that. And then the next step would probably add the server sent events so that you can get that ChatGPT effect. So if you're trying to think about, what this might be for the next couple streams, those are probably the things that we might add. The first step would to figure out how we need to compile this. And this should be that we can just import this, pass a config. I don't even know if we need to create chatbot. That gets internal. Yep, we don't actually need create chatbot. We're just going to bring in chatbot builder. Create chatbot is just to pass into the config so that we can pass in a dynamic parameters at initiation of the graph. So not when we compile it, but when we are trying to define it. And I'll show you that. That can actually be seen. I mean, maybe it is a compile. No, it is really into the define. And where you can find that code is in the agent of this repository. So it is at ryaneggs/LangGraph template at github.com. What up, Steven? I'm gonna build an AI API tonight because I felt like last night's was I pretty much let Cursor take the reins and it felt weird. So I'm gonna try to take this way back to the Stone Age and just do it with no AI. I am looking at my project, but I'm not asking AI. So that doesn't count, right? At least making it hard on myself. At least harder. So this isn't that hard. I'm kind of copying and pasting. That's what coding is. Even before ChatGPT, it was pretty much coding and pasting. Here it is. It's in the utils agent.py. This is the bread and butter. So as you can see here, this is exactly how I use it. I just 2 lines of code. You just import the chatbot builder. Internal of this function for the builder, you can end up passing it the model name. And then you have a dynamic LangGraph. So to show this, I want to go ahead and just execute these 2 lines, because that's all we need. I mean, I'll need to give it some parameters. We can't use self. And we're going to use Anthropic. Yeah, doing the impossible, that's funny. It's fun. It's worth to do it on a stream. If we're really getting some stuff done, yeah. But I feel like I need to take it back to basics a little bit and think, here's my thinking. If I do this on stream, if you're not a dev and you're walking through this, you're gonna see what a dev would have had to do before AI kind of came along. It's a little bit of just thinking through things rather than quickly jumping to AI how to do it. And honestly, it's kind of refreshing to see if I can just kind of like put things together kind of like the old way. It might take me a minute to kind of get back into this way of doing things, but this is the reason we do the streams. It's interesting what they have this one. I thought they might have shortened it by now to this. I think you may be able to do that, but I hate that I have to pass this every time. We're going to define a constant for this just to keep it easy on ourselves. Keep it at the top of the file.
Ah, that's funny.
Yeah, I just skipped all of that entirely. I don't think we're going to give this a checkpointer. We're going to just make this... We're not going to even add any history tonight. That's exactly what we're going to do for these next couple streams, I think. I'm going to put together a very simple LangGraph API tonight with an endpoint. And we are going to put it to GitHub. And we're just going to enhance this over the next couple streams so that people can see exactly how to go put this together. And this is... For anybody coming to the stream, and even if you're not really familiar with what I'm putting together, if you just learn this and you branch out from here, I mean, it's going to be a bit of a hurdle. There's the documentation here. That's kind of what we had to do, is we always, and that's the thing. I might have noticed that I just try to jump into some of the AI stuff, and like the code last night worked. But what I want to do is I want to like revamp my way of looking into an issue. It's kind of gotten to where like AI is just like a quick and easy thing to go add, especially if you're in a hurry. But I kind of want to get back to where my mind instinctively just goes to look at the documentation first, and then goes. I mean, this is exactly what happened with us the other night on the stream. Steven we kind of like could have done the shad CDN thing in the documentation, and it would have gone much simpler, but the problem is I was trying to show React, and then we stepped into Shad. Shad just gives you all the instructions just to start up the Shad CDN project on React. Not CDN, but CN. So I think that's the thing that I need to kind of reteach myself. So we don't need checkpoint or net, because that's how you're going to save history. All we need is these two lines. And then we should just be able to call it and get the response. Yeah, they use stream. I guess I can just use invoke too, because I'm using this. So let me explain how this chatbot works. This is a function in order to create the configuration in the main.dat file. This normally you would not even need to define this. This would just be builder exported from this file. But since we want to pass dynamic arguments to our... That's cool. I'm going to have to check out Lovable. Sorry guys, I have ADD sometimes. But we want to be able to pass arguments dynamically to this configuration when at runtime. So that is the reason for this specific piece. But this is the meat of what we have. We have our state. We've defined the node, what we're calling this node. We're passing in the function that's going to be executing this node. And we set it as our entry point to the graph. And we also set it as our endpoint. And it should be fairly what we see here as the graph representation, or I think it's mermaid chart representation. Yeah, mermaid PNG. I can actually do that. Let's check this out. Let's go ahead and just see if we have the same representation here. So I have a piece of code for this. I'm actually going to just go rob it. Visualize. Where is visualize? Definitely isn't here. It's in utils. It's in visualize. And then visualize graph. This one's a little bit more complex than I want to just kind of show this one, so I'm going to kind of backtrack on this. I'm going to grab their example. I just don't want to have to go install that as a dependency. I think that's the reason why I'm doing that. Oh, okay, wait a minute. So we can just pull this straight out of LangGraph, it looks like. Mermaid method. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just go ahead and pull that out. I need to make this into a CLI. We're going to follow the same patterns, because this is what we do. We stick to similar things. So I consider this a util because it's going to help me visualize the actual process that's happening here. So that's why we create its own. We created the folder for utils, and then we created visualize in its own file. And then we can import that anywhere else. And where do I end up using this? Doesn't actually show anywhere else. I want to say it's in that agent file. Visual, I just did spell it correctly. I think because I pulled it out. Oh well. I don't really need it. I mean, it is an agent. Yeah, I think I kind of ripped it out at some point because I was like, this is not really going to be great for my API. I don't need this. Another cool thing is having this debug option. I think that's actually going to be a really cool thing to add right now. Because then you can actually see the model think through its steps. So we're also going to say graph.debug, and we're going to set that equal to true. And I think this is where we should call our visualize graph. Yeah, I need to check out the lovable thing. I think it'd be kind of fun to I think that'd be a fun stream to do. Utils. How do you like it compared to V0 and Bolt? Really? Huh. I may need to go check that out then. What is it that makes? I remember you saying that you weren't liking Bolt really. What is it that Lovable uses a third-party backend? I'm not sure I get what that means. Oh, okay. But I think Bolt can do that too. Yeah, well, you're connecting it to a database. You can connect it to Supabase as a database, and what I believe is that you're still building a Next.js project, and then your Next.js is built intended to have a backend coupled with it, and so it has its own node server, and so most of the time you can just deploy the Next.js on like a CD, like a Netlify or something, and then you will not have to go host the backend yourself. And it's a great way if you're kind of newer to not. It is a really easy way to just have everything bundled together and deploy. And I'd say for most, if most of these you guys are like people are going from Lovable to, I'd say that would be the easiest jump. Than having to go learn do a Python backend. It'd probably be easier to just have a Next.js app from a pure productivity standpoint. When you get into like, oh, we want to do very custom things, then you're probably going to start going down the route of like, maybe we do want to choose a different backend. I mean, you can do a lot though. I wouldn't say that you probably have a full startup by the time you even think about that. Okay, so we're gonna have graph info. We need to pass a query to this. I haven't even looked at what the state looks like on this thing. It's just messages. So what we do is we need to pass messages to an invoke. And it's going to look like this. It's going to want an array of messages. That's what I was thinking might be the selling point. I mean, I think that there's just so many of them, and if they're all going to do shadcn, it's gonna get old. Yeah, shadcn. It's gonna get old. So it makes sense to like, and all it is just like a little bit of internal prompting. I'm sure they're like, you know, down the corners a little bit, but you know, kind of cool. I mean, at least the AIs have their own little flavors. The next thing we need to do is we need to pull in a human message, and I don't even remember where I get those. A human message, and the reasoning why is because if we want to do multimodal, we can use a human message in order to define what is text and what might be an image, and then we have a multimodal. I think that's probably worth just at least getting the human in there and at least showing you how to make the multimodal piece. I'll show you where Rob is code. I was going to mess around with it a bit on my front end once. What's your curriculum? Is this part of like another class, or is this something that has to do with like programming? Let's see. Okay, we need to go grab this human message. Where did I store that? Ooh, am I gonna need an LLM? No, because I've already done that here, but I'm going to need to define. Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. I remember you telling me about that now. It's going to take a list of messages in from the state that's getting passed in as the graph gets built. I need to go get a human message. I need to go search in my repository. Human message. I mean, I guess I could just show you guys where this is in LangGraph. Like, just go to LangGraph. I mean, the problem is this is also going to be in the LangChain documentation, so that is the other thing. I would human message. Can we just type human message? Human message. I don't see it. AI message. That's close. I mean, that's going to get us close to what we want, and it's in there, so I know that we can get. Okay, perfect. That's all I need. We're going to. I'm going to put this at the top because these are our folders, and these are. I don't need AI message. I want human message. And we're going to put human message in here, and it's going to take a tuple, I believe. No. Let's get the system message out of there. Oh. Yeah, we can put the system message in there. I think that there's some weird nuances between the different model providers with regards to their system messages. So they seem, at least through LangChain, they seem to be fairly uniform with regards to human and AI messages. But when it comes to system message, it just gets a little funky. I mean, even the tool messages are a little funky now too. But what we want is we want a list of AI messages. Where did I just saw that get defined somewhere. Maybe we can hover over it. Oh, that's right. It's right here. Boom. We can look at the documentation for this thing. So here's a good way to do this. If you're new and you want to learn how something works, Control and then click on that thing and then go read about it. And you can just read the code here, and then, if they're a good Python library, they will try to document in here. And this is a great thing about Python. It's just so easy to document every piece of it. But that's where you see, if we can hover over this, you can see all this stuff in here. That's actually what you're seeing here when we Control click this. This is what's helping define that, so it actually looks highlighted correctly. But we want to just recreate this and then just pass it the messages, basically. So let's do that up here. Let's just keep this very static. I don't even need this anymore. We can just take messages and keep this super clean. Super clean. See how that is? It looks clean. Hi, your name is Bob. That's a good example. I mean, that's the example. So let's just use the example. Okay, so the next step is I gotta go get a key. I'm probably gonna do this off stream. I have other keys, but I think I learned my lesson the other night. I gotta keep them protected. I wiped the streams already. But if you do find it, please let me know. If I ever do launch that project, I'll definitely go change the keys. But, it would be nice to know that I should go scrub it somewhere else. Alright, so I hate light mode. I was gonna do one thing. Guess what's important? Graph invoke. I guess we'll print this out. And let's Python main py this. I need a key. That was what we were doing. Okay, I'm gonna go to Claude. I'm gonna grab a new key. You can't log in? I mean, I guess I haven't used this browser before. There was an error. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It looks like, Claude. Let's check this is, happening on Chrome. Tried to do this on Brave. I mean, I guess I can log in already on Chrome, so that doesn't make a difference, but I gotta go get an API key. And console. You must know the way to do this is if you go to Claude, and then you go to your icon, and then you go to API console. It should take you there, and then you're gonna get a key over there. After you log into like 5 pages. I don't need an organization. Okay. What is going on? Come here, Claude. I went to your API console, and you told me I needed to be an organization. If you don't intend to set up a new account, you just log in with an own new. What are you talking about? I need to get an API. API key. Claude, give me an API key. Build with Claude API. Yes. Oh, man. I mean, I can still rob it, but I don't want to go. What's that? I'm going to use a stream one. Oh man. Alright. That's gonna count. I was about to go use Perplexity. I was this close to using AI. Man. That close. Okay. I mean, I can't use AI at all. I can use Google. Settings, maybe? Account? API console. Log in with another email? That doesn't make any sense. Unless, maybe it is another email. That doesn't make any sense. I don't think it is. It is another email. Whoops. Okay, so that was a place to get it. I just was using the wrong email. So we are going to go stream API key. If you must know. This is what it looks like, but not my key. We're going to click add. I'm going to copy that key. I'm going to disappear the stream. Whoops, I disappeared me. Disappear the stream. And we're going to paste in, we're going to create an .env file in our code editor that you can't see. And we're going to call it Anthropic API key in caps. Because is it even an environment variable if it's not in caps? I quite literally don't even know the answer to that. And back. So there's that .env file. You can't see it. I'm not gonna let you see it. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. So we should be good to go. I mean, we put our key there. You know what? I mean, so in Python, we need to tell it where the env file is. We can do source env, and then we can do in Python main, and that should tell it that this is the environment variables that you should utilize. What we should do, though, is we need to also make sure that these get included into the LLM. But hey, I'm not even seeing the LLM. Where's model being defined here? Model here, base chat fit coming in. Oh, wait a minute, no? That's literally the LLM getting passed in. Okay. So let me go look over here at this. What did I end up doing? Oh, I'm okay. And the reason that I'm doing that is I have... Okay, so I do need to bring in an LLM from LangChain because I have this... I wanted to use different providers, and so I have this LLM wrapper. So if you want to kind of extend it or be able to use multiple LLMs through a single interface, you can use the LLM wrapper here. I'm not going to use that for the stream. I'm going to keep it very simple, but I might just rip it out of here real quick. We do want chat Anthropic, so I'm going to grab this piece right here, and I guess we'll just grab the whole import and take it. And then, did I not get this? We're going to define it inside the file to keep it easy on ourselves. And instead of that being called externally, it's just going to be called here, and we already have the model name, but that needs to get passed in. So we're not going to do that here. We're going to make it external. We're going to move it in here. We're going to define the LLM in here and just kind of make it a lot easier on what's going on here. I don't need any keywords. I mean the API key, but the model can get passed in here. So this is literally, okay, so this is the model itself. This is the, well, this is the LLM. I like to specify this as the LLM, but this is what actually gets passed in. Just double checking all the chats. Probably double check the YouTube stream. I was watching a video earlier today. I don't even know what the streamer's name was. They were saying that it's better to go live on Twitch and then have the videos, but both stream on both, but have the videos perform better after live on YouTube. Okay, so we have our model defined. I can't even remember what else we need from this. Cache? That would be a nice thing to add. That'd be a cool thing to add for this. It's just a boolean, so it's not like if you dig up some bars on it. Metadata, verbose. I don't really need verbose. Whoops. We'll click on this and go read some stuff. This is kind of why it's easier just to hover over it sometimes. Let's go back and hover. Model name. API key, that's where it is. That's what we would want right here. So we're going to define the API key, and we need to also get the OS, the standard OS module, and we're going to utilize that here to get our Anthropic API key constant. OS get env. This is kind of the thing that we really relied on before, was the auto completion. So you can see how, like, every time I get to the end of this, like, you can see get env, and like these are the things that you rely on. And the thing is that this doesn't come out of the box in JavaScript. It does in Python, it does in TypeScript, and a lot of other languages. But that's the one thing that, like, JavaScript, you kind of miss out on. It's an interesting thing, that it's a very new developer language, but like most devs come in through JavaScript, but then you get a Python, you get something like that, you get auto completion out of the box, because most of them won't make the jump to TypeScript. But I guess that's a case for Python, but you still are gonna have to probably go build an interface. I mean, that's what all the bolt.news are anyways, right? Okay. I mean, we should have our key. I don't want to hover over it because then you might actually see the key. Whoa, whoa, don't want you to see that. So let's go ahead and run this now. Whoops. And I could install a package that would help run this internally, but I like to make it fun. So nah, it's just seems cleaner at the moment. I guess we can make this a little bit smaller. Paste that, we'll run that. We got an error. What do we have an error for? Invalid API key. Why are you invalid? Get env. Get the key. That's exactly what we did. I'm gonna have to pause this real quick. Hold up. Give me 1 moment. I mean, you should be a string. You look like a string, you quack like a string, you're probably a string. And then do that. We're back. So that's what I think I'm gonna do. Make sure that's spelled correctly. That is spelled correctly. It's not loading in the key. Even though it should, when I use source env, I'm telling it exactly where the env file is. I mean, I guess we're just gonna go add this .env thing. Install python.env. I think that's what it's called. I think it's python.env. That's what it is. It's python.env. There's plenty of ways of doing this, like without this. The same thing in Node. But it just kind of ends up making life easier. So we're gonna need to install that now. Okay. That should be in the project now. Now, if we go ahead and run this, I don't even need the source anymore. We're getting the same error. Validation error Anthropic. Can we do environ? I mean, then I wouldn't even need to pull this in. Name to use. That seems fine. Take the cache out. Maybe that's good stuff. API key. I mean, it says it. It says. Yeah. Not working. Like env Python main. Here. You don't like that? Load. Okay, that's what we need. Okay. Yeah, see? Look back at the documentation. Do that. Gotta call that so it'll actually load the environment variables. Okay, so now we can actually do what we did before. We can use getenv. Now, that was what our issue was. 100%. Okay. This should work. I don't want to take bets on it, but this should work. Ooh, name. Line 29. Name. Oh, I need to give this a name. TwitchGraph? TwitchGraph. I don't have a directory called that. For this, where this visualize is going to go. So let's create a directory for that. Sandbox. Graphs inside of that. So now it has a place to dump the mermaid graph that's going to create. Okay, that worked. Cool. And cool. We can see that exactly perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to prove that the chatbot that we were going to run is the exact one they end up showing in the documentation, or at least it matches this first one explicitly. Because what we're doing is we're allowing the ability to pass the model dynamically into ours. We don't just say chatbot like they do here. And that is one thing that I think it was worth showing, so that you are are able to understand how to pass other options into this node, because that will actually allow you to leverage LangChain in a much better way, especially if you want to go create your own custom graphs. As you can see here, they just pass in. Here's them defining the function. This is us defining the function up here, and then in order for us to do it the way that we did, like this, we had to have a nested function inside of this, and then it returns that function. And so that allows us to be able to pass the configuration to this here, and then call it to be executed over here. But I didn't even get to see what the actual output was because it's all caught. Oh, here. So here's the AI message. Hi, my name is Bob. I'm an AI. Let's make this bigger. Here's you can see the system messages. I need to kind of get to the actual meat and potatoes of this. So we printed out the last thing, and we also did verbose mode. So let's actually turn verbose or the debug mode off because we won't get all of these. So this is what we get with debug mode. You can see the internal graph be running. So let's slide this to the right. It's probably a much better way to look at this, to be honest. But you can see here are the internal steps running of the graph. And then we can just clear the terminal. Whoops. Yeah, false. Clear terminal, run that again, Python main. Boom, you can see the graph was created down here again. And then you can see that we have a messages array, and we have our messages. So we have our system message, that is the first part. We have our human message, that is our query, and then we have its response, is its last response here. And so let's go ahead and just do this. So we know that this is going to be the results, and we're going to save this to a variable. We're going to put results here, and then we can just scope to the last. It's going to be in messages, and then we're going to scope to the last one in the array. And then we're going to drill down to the actual content that's on there. I believe that's what I can do. If not, yeah, perfect. So there's its response. Hi, my name is Bob. It's nice to meet you. Perfect. So we know that our AI runs correctly now. So now we want to put it into an endpoint so that we can serve it. And we want to return it as JSON. So now that we have a LangGraph chatbot implementation, we are going to get that pulled into an endpoint. And to make this simple for everybody, I'm going to just keep it fairly flat and stuff in this main file, and then I can pull it back. So let's go get FastAPI added. I typically never go in and look at the documentation for a lot of these. I like go set these up. I mean, I kind of know what to do, but I like looking at least the documentation for like the quick go documentation. Where's the example? Installation. Create it. There we go. That's all I wanted. I just wanted something to go from. So the way that I'm going to do this, I really want to make this an entry point. So let's get everything. This is just the example. So this is just going to get passed to the side. Let's actually just push this to the side. We're going to call this old. Rename. I'm going to push that to the side. We're going to get a new main file, but we're going to just get our server defined in there, and then we probably might pull that back too. We're going to get another main. I just want to get the server running, so we're going to go in here. We're going to do, whoops, not LangGraph, but we need UVcorn, and we need FastAPI. It should be the only two dependencies we need. Let's go back into our terminal. Let's go uv pip install r-r requirements. Hit enter. Now we have FastAPI. I'm going to reload this. I'm going to kind of speed this up a little bit. Okay, so now we have an endpoint going. Let's just go ahead and make sure that we can run this. I need to have... I want to call this from the bottom. So, like, how do I call this from the bottom of the file? I want to do this the right way. Like, they do this a different way. I don't like the way I don't want to just call it UV-corn method. SEA standard. Pedantic, used by Pydantic. That's why we had it. I guess that explains yesterday's stream while we were asking that question. I wonder if I'll have to use it. I mean, I'm not using models in this one yet, but let's also make sure we have a title for our FastAPI. So like I said before, we can hover over this and see what it does. So we have a title, so let's give it a title of our eggs chat. That's what it was, eggs chat. Oh, really? Interesting. You might have been quick to judge both, but why do you say that? Are you trying it out right now and you're thinking that it looks at least familiar from the code editor perspective? Alright, to get this thing running. So there's, in here, you can do if, and I want to say it's underscore underscore name underscore underscore, and then it goes equal equals. I want to say it's underscore underscore main underscore underscore, and then you call that. And then I go UV corn. So then I've got to go from UV corn. I think it's just import a UV corn actually. Import UV corn, and then I at least get to here, and then I can figure out what I actually gotta call. And I want to say it's run, and then I can figure out what I need to run. Yep, this is exactly what I want. So the host is, we're gonna do 0.0.0 because that's going to be allow us to connect to, whoops, I believe the Docker containers when we add those. So for now, looks way better than when I tried it out months ago. That's the answer for a lot of things, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and define the port. I'm going to use the default one, but at least you guys can see here. Something I did want to play with was the workers. I don't know if it's going to even do anything here, but I'll play 2 workers. I mean, I think that's really all we need, and we don't need to reload it at the moment. Reload, do you have that? They have a variable for that. Okay, cool. So all of these will allow us to just run python main.python, and this is going to call everything for us on our server. These are the configurations for our Python server. So now, to test this, we can call main.py app. What's wrong? I didn't pass app. That's probably what it is. App. Cool. I think that should fix it. Workers flag is ignored when reloading is enabled. Okay. Man, I just had a craving for some sushi, man. Must pass the application as an import string to enable reload. Or workers. Okay, then we're just gonna... Oh, it's saying this needs to be a string. Maybe not? That's weird. Let's just get rid of workers. I know I'm lightly not even reading what these errors are, and that's bad, but... It's a chill stream. Chill stream. Okay, server's up. So now, we can test to see if these endpoints work. Would you say you like it? Are you kind of going back and forth to see if you like it more than lovable.dev at the moment? Okay, get a new tab. We're gonna go to localhost 8000 now. Boom, server's up. Hello world. Yeah, hello world. How about hello? No. Goodbye, world. Goodbye, world. The people that follow Primage and love them. Never seen enough of his videos. I mean, so this is our API. We can see that it's up and running here. And so the next step is to just merge everything together. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna add a version in here too. And then I can go ahead and refresh that. We will put the reload back in, because then let's just make it a lot easier. You must pass the application as an import string to enable reload. What does that mean? Import string. That doesn't make any sense to make it as a string. Google it. Google. Do not. Is that AI? I don't want AI. I don't want to see it. Is that it? It is AI. No, it's from the Stack Overflow, I think. Oh. Okay. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So main app. Okay, so do I even need... Okay, I do need app. But I need to call main app. I think that's the way this needs to be done. That is very interesting. Import string must be... colon, right? Is that what they do? Yeah. Boom. Okay, cool. That solves it. Okay, so now we have reload. Whoa. Okay, I gotta get rid of that bit. Yeah, okay. Reload's working, though. I mean, that's good. Cool. Cool. I mean, see my version. It's called eggs chat. We're gonna ignore this. So typically, I would just return like an HTML page from this, so that when I got to this API, that at least it will just redirect me to the /docs. Another cool thing about FastAPI is that it has this redocs. I typically don't like to use it. I guess it's cool, but I've never used it as like my documentation for my. I think the Swagger documentation is much more compact and simpler to use. So I'll usually just go with the docs and use this. I'm gonna hide this one because it's not really an API endpoint, so we can go include in schema false, and you'll see that disappear. We're going to add a tag. We're going to say that this is our AI endpoint, so we need to say that we're going to add a tag to this, and we're just going to say, I don't know, LLM. So now when we refresh this, it'll be under the LLM tag. I don't say AI. And the way that I like to do this is I just like to do query, I think. Well, LLM. We could even go like API LLM. It might be good to do that because, especially when you couple this with the front end, you might be coupling this with a Vite front end. You might want to have your Vite front end be served on slashes instead of having your back end be served at, I would suggest prefixing this. So we're going to have /API/LLM. And then, you know what? I like thread. Because that's exactly what this is. This is your thread. And then we can add another endpoint for the other one later. So we're going to add our AI into this piece now. I'm going to pull this to the left or the right. We're going to get rid of this one. Okay, it's going to be smaller than that. So, what we want to do is we want to be able to pass in a set of messages. So we're going to need to define, this is going to be a post. we're going to need to define the schema. So we are going to need Pydantic. Man, that's going to probably make me install that. We're going to need Pydantic to create models. Model. That's pretty much all we need. We're going to go in here, we're going to create our entities folder. So I like to keep my models and my types. We're going to create a request body. Hello, hello, SauceCord. Welcome to the chat. AI query. We'll just say query. That's probably the better way to do query.py. You know what? Nah. Delete this. We're just gonna make a module. And we're just keep everything in here. And how I'd like this to be is I want to have messages, and this will also have a model, and then this will also be a string. This is not that. This is a list. And the list is of base messages from LangChain, which we're going to have to go grab. I think it's probably going to be in the LangChain messages thing right here. LangChain core, that's exactly where it's going to be. Messages and import base message, that's what I want. It's going to be a list of base messages. And that should be all we need. Query. Isn't it response model or something? Response model? I think that's response model. No. I'm an idiot. Yeah, because this is not. This is where it's supposed to go. I'm fairly sure. Yep, it's not. Okay, I can like pass. Let's just keep it all one tab. We can even get crafty, jump from tabs, clean. Oh. Whoa. You guys see that glitch? Alright, so we're going to say query chat model to some extent. What brings you to the channel, Sauce Control? Oh, I'm all alone now. Oh no, SoftCord, you're still here. What brings you to the channel, SoftCord? Yes, I know. I'm new here. This is I think my third or fourth stream. It said one person, and I was like, oh, okay. Because usually it says Stream Elements is the only one in here. Okay, so let's get back in track. We're going to say this is our query. Yeah. And then this is getting brought in. Entities folder. We need to get it pulled in from SRC entities and import the, what do I call query? That's going to get there. think that should at least give us what we're looking for. Nice. That's awesome. Do we know each other, or did you just randomly find the stream? I'm curious. Because then I'll have to start guessing. I guess I just want to make sure that I'm gonna be able to get this here. Okay, so that's all reloading. And eggs chat. I randomly came here after taking a break from reading and watching Module 2. That is so cool. That is so cool. Interesting. Was it I guess it must have been because I tagged it with LangGraph? Huh, that's really cool. Is it really unpacking all of that? Oh, I guess I didn't really even define what the example would be, huh? Config? They changed this so many times. Nice. Well, welcome. Okay, so I've been digging into LangGraph, and I got a hold of LangChain really early, and I started building RAG and agents, but I was passing the chat history every time, and I was like, man, this is just taking a ton of memory on long conversations in my front-end app. And I was like, man, I gotta get to start learning about LangGraph. I know that's the right way to go. And I started diving into it 2 or 3 months ago, and I was like, okay, cool. I need to now get all the components together that I had in my other application. So I wanted streaming, I wanted to, JSON responses, just the normal. One thing that I've been wanting to set up is cron, kind of like how LangServe does. Summarizing and trimming. I don't know what you mean by trimming, but are you just asking are you trying to get clarification what I mean by RAG? Trimming, you're not talking about splitting, are you? Oh, yeah, there's the LangChain. I was using those. I was actually using the LangGraph one, and I used the vector store. So let me go back here. LangChain, LangGraph memory. I was using all of those memories. It wasn't the backend was managing it, because I was using these on the backend in order. It was the front end when you would get the list of messages, and then passing them back and forth each time. Just, it was dirty. I wanted to get the thread runnables set up. Oh, okay. No worries. No. Yeah. So there's, with regards to, there are memory. So this is like a really complex piece, because there's RAG, which you're just equipping it with a vector database, and please tell me if I start stepping and you know these things, just let me know. There's RAG and vector database, and then LangChain had the ability to start making the context history more condensed. And they had memory and knowledge graph memory, they have a vector store memory, and I was utilizing these. I started with summary memory, and then I found vector store memory, and I found knowledge graph memory, and I was utilizing those more or less. And those are actually, if you'd like to try it out, it's actually over at, where did I put this thing? Oh yeah, prompt engineers, Prompt engineers, it's on Render, I believe. AI, there it is, Netlify, there it is. It's on, the backend is on Render, I think, I can't remember. It's all super-based stuff, but if you want to deploy it, it's up here. It's the old version, and basically I'm rebuilding the new version on LangGraph, and that's over here, and the documentation for that is at Ryan Egg's LangGraph template, and you can go rob code for all I care. That's kind of what I've been setting this up, is I wanted to get a minimal ChatGPT representation that's able to be utilized on OpenAI as a provider, Anthropic as a provider. I've got the reasoning models in there. I've also it should be really easy to extend. If you're familiar with if you're a pretty proficient programmer, I've tried to keep everything in really nice patterns to make it really easily be able to extend. So here's like this one class that can just be your model representation. But on the splitting side, yeah, when you start doing the RAG implementations and you have to go get documents and scrape documents, and then you start splitting up those documents into smaller chunks, I think that's maybe what you were referring to on the trimming side. That's what I probably would have referred to taken it as. What is this JSON? They do JSON config. They change this. They change it all the time. I need to go look it up in FastAPI. How do I get the config? Base model? I look it up in here. So I'm actually, I'm trying to I am trying to not use AI tonight. I was setting up a project yesterday, and it was meant to kind of be instructional. And I was setting up Cursor, and then I showed everybody Composer. And what ended up happening is Composer just like set up this project. I was like, well, okay, yeah. And it kind of defeated the purpose of that part of the stream. So I was like, you know what? Tonight I'm gonna just struggle through this, and I'm gonna go back to what it was like before we ended up getting AI. And so yeah, it's going to be a bit of a painful stream to kind of revisit this place in programming, and also like remove my bad practices of just jumping into using AI and trying to look at the documentation. I think it's like the ability to navigate the documentation is the dump JSON. No, these are not what I want. The ability to navigate documentation and look for the answer is kind of the skill I'm trying to relearn. Generating the JSON schema, model config. I thought it's something like that. Snap. It's there. Wait a minute. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. It's like I can just do this. I don't think that's gonna work. JSON, all fields ignored. Field. Oh, wait a minute. No, but that's there. Is this gonna work like this? It seems like it's no, it ain't gonna work. Reliving Real Lives was doing a vlog with Cursor / human generated code. That's funny. You gotta send it over to me. I'd love to see that. Okay. I mean, it may be. Shoot. I mean, we're in a simulation, for sure. You know, I just haven't figured out how to break out of it either. Model config. This is making me think this, too. Examples. That seems like that's exactly what I need. Examples. Because it is the example that I'm passing. Config. Using the JSON schema extra field level. I mean, let's just go get a quick Google. I need to. The problem is it's going to try AI-fy me.
Using raw OpenAI calls with messy manual schema assignments. 5 minutes later, I picked up on LangGraph and was like, well, that was a fun 30 minutes wasted, or however long it took. Oh man, I guess I'm curious to see. Like that was using, or not, like that was using raw OpenAI calls with messy manual schema assignments. You know what's interesting is that I have never even used OpenAI's Runnables API. I have a feeling that's what you're meaning. Like you were trying to use their Runnables API. Raw and raw. Meaning raw and raw. I was using the OpenAI. Oh, okay. Are you using WebSockets? OpenAI package. Sorry, I'm not. I got raw and raw OpenAI package. That level. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. You're not even using LangGraph at that point. OpenAI. Yeah, I haven't even used that since it like came out. The LangGraph stuff's complex. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay, I see what you're saying. Interesting. What were the other ones that it listed? Gigantic. Rick body example. Gigantic. This is the page I was just on too. I might as well just go ahead and give it a try. Model config. Model config from attributes true. That's gotta be from typing. Big dick. Big dick. Where's the big dick? Pydantic. Sorry, framework, not foundation. Bot press. Oh, okay. Interesting. Dialogue flow. Rasa. I feel like I've heard bot press. Bot press. Abstractions. I asked ChatGPT if there were even higher abstractions or tools. It listed some through maybe not. Interesting. I mean, I guess I'm curious. Are you? So LangGraph was more suited what you were looking for, and did you look at like AutoGen or Crew AI? I guess I'm curious to see if those are more on vein, or if you're looking something like directly like graph agents or graph LLMs, I guess. Graph LLMs are definitely the right way to go. Like I believe that this is the right way. It's just it's definitely taken some head banging for sure on some steps. Like getting the message history is a little weird. The checkpointer stuff in LangGraph was a little weird to get used to, but it's actually like exactly what it means. I went from writing my own schemas to LangGraph. Look, I'm like a kid lost a kid. Dude, that's exactly. Did you hear about LangChain, or did you just get straight from LangGraph? I'm curious to know that one.
if you didn't even hear LangChain and you went straight to LangGraph, I'm gonna be a little bit surprised. I guess the only reason is that I feel you, bro, or girl. I heard about LangChain first. Okay, good. Okay, so then we're on the same page. I remember like right when ChatGPT came out, they released the APIs, and then LangChain came out like shortly after. And I think I was like just jumping into the APIs, and I was like, "This is sick. This is sick." I was doing chat completions API, and then I don't know if I caught an article or something, but I started looking at an article, and I got like really early to LangChain. I should have tried to like make some contributions. You know, I'm selfish though, so I try to like build shit. But yeah, and then I just focused there. I haven't even looked at Llama Index. I haven't looked at anything else. So I'm kind of like I guess I'm a little bit of the opposite. I've been fairly glued to LangChain for a little while now, and I've kind of seen at least it evolve into getting into LangGraph, and all the crazy things they're doing now is interesting. One thing that you should learn that is newer to LangGraph is this concept of these command things. They've just recently added this, and it's a pretty cool. I guess they do it in Llama Index, and I think they copied it or something. LangChain command, LangGraph command. This thing. This is allowing you to tell it to like direct where it goes up next in the graph. This is something newer that I'm trying to get more. I gotta get more It's powerful. What I think is that you don't really. What I've heard, I think even Harrison Chase says this in a video. He says that you more or less no longer need conditional edges when you're defining your graph. So I think internally these should more or less just take over, and so you can just have nodes and edges now when you're putting your back graph builder together, because internally you can direct where the next step is in the graph. Yeah, right? That's funny. Yeah, I don't think you need conditional edges anymore. I think you can just use this. Yeah, he said it, I think, in one of his most recent things when they came out with this. It was pretty recent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of cool, at least that we get to remove the conditional edges. Like, I think you definitely still use them. But I do really, he was like, yeah, this kind of removes the reason for even needing them anymore. And I was like, huh. And that's what made me click and be like, okay, maybe I need to go check this thing out. I set it up in a Google Colab somewhere, but I didn't get too deep on it yet. Definitely, I think the intention was for the multi-agent architectures, in order to allow it. What was happening before was like the first node would like keep the actual history. What I think this allows now is I think they're calling it handoff, to where instead of the first node being the one that's doing the responses back to the user, it essentially is like a handoff, and the next agent can like pick it up, and they're the ones that actually respond if they end up getting the end node or the end edge, I guess. Yeah, that even. It seems like it's it's cleaner. Yeah, exactly. Yep, you even used it. Perfect. Yeah, yeah. It's cleaner. It's. I can't even explain it, but I've had it to where it almost seems like a bad game of telephone. Like when it's being handed, like whatever the tool like response was being handed back, it's funky. And I did play with it, and I was like, okay, this makes more sense. And the reason I'm kind of fuzzy on it, I'm fuzzy, is because I think that it'll enable some more powerful stuff, and that's the thing that I kind of need to go dig down more, because I have like a fuzzy feeling that I don't want to go and just spout it out because I haven't gone and played with it enough, but I have a feeling that it enables some more like deterministic responses to some extent.
need to figure out how to use this damn model thing. JSON schema extra. Like, I think that's all I'd have to do. It's like JSON schema extra. Is this how they do it now? And then I just pass in like a big array. So I used cursor for a few days. Now I hear the buzzword is Z. I don't even know what I'm supposed to keep. No, I don't think you need Z. I want to say Z's a validation framework. Z validation. That's the only time I've heard of it. I know there's like Windsurf. That's like another one. Zod? Zod. No, that's what I'm thinking of. Zod. Yeah, you may be right. There may be a Z then. I'm thinking of Zod as the validation. So ZID. Oh man. Is this it? This sounds interesting. Interesting, you're totally right. Clone source? Ooh, thank you for coming to the stream, Sauce Cord. You have to tell me about this. I'm gonna follow you, and then you tell me about this after you tried it out. It looks cool. Another one that I've heard about is Klein. I haven't played around with these, but I just kind of like been trying to keep an eye out, a peripheral eye out on Klein, I think. I think this was like an agent editor. Klein. Autonomous coding agent. Yeah, I haven't played with it. But there was a lot of this, a lot of cursor, a lot of windsurf, and Zed's a new one to me too. I have never heard of that one. I gotta have to go check this out. These are definitely things I want to do on the stream. Zed IDE. Minimalistic. I like the idea of is this the same thing? I hope it's the same rendering. Minimalistic code editor. Okay, cool. I like the idea of minimalistic. Bolt before I came, I only gave it one shot. It failed, and I was like, can't be bothered to get involved. But the idea is, yeah, I guess it's a different. Do you have a programming background, Sauce? Okay, cool. I was like, yeah, it seems like you do. How long have you been deving for? You seem like you're pretty proficient. By King of Wolf. Yeah, I guess I'm asking from I'm trying to gauge the perspective that you're coming at it from, and it sounds like you're coming at it from the perspective of I'm just more productive in my code editor, and that's kind of. Yeah. All right. Cool. I'm definitely not there. You're pretty grand wizardy, I'd say, but I try every day. That's why I sit here and do this stuff. But no. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly my feeling to some extent. I've gotten to them and I'm like, man, I feel like I just need to be in my code editor. I think the reason they shine, obviously, is here's an interesting thing. I've been in this Discord community. Really cool because it's a bunch of motivated young people. And like, it's funny because I think as like devs, we like lose sight or we get lost in the complexity sometimes. And I've been joining this Discord peak, and there's like some people that are like familiar with deving, but they're not. Like, a guy said that he had, like, was a designer, he dropped it for a year, and he didn't really get too far in it, and then he, like, picked it back up, and now he's just kind of running with it, and he's got bunch of these little small apps, and I think he's making, like, some okay money, but he's just, like, cranking stuff out, and it's kind of refreshing to see, because I kind of remember back then, I didn't know how to build the thing, but I had a better idea of what to ask for, and it's interesting to see these guys. Yeah, I mean that's kind of a similar thing. I mean, I expect that you're probably really familiar with like at least the evolving ecosystem of how it's happened over the last 20 to 30 years, and that's probably it's been an interesting thing to watch. I think I was talking about this in the stream the other night. It's just like the interesting thing about, at least from my generation. I was born in '92. I saw the big brick phones from like the Gordon Gekko, Gordon Gecko movies. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I say it's drinking from a fire hose. Like I can't even the only reason I've stayed interested as long is because like I've just let the ADD lead me to where the next thing is that I'm interested in. Dude, that's really cool that you came to the stream. I'm pretty pumped that you just found me randomly. That's really cool, man. It's really been cool chatting. I'm probably gonna bounce out here in a few. I'm gonna try to clean this up. Thank you for coming, man. Let's keep in contact. I have a Discord. Um, I know you're new. I'm kind of trying to make this. Here's what the channel's about, and you probably see it in one of my other streams. I think that there's a bunch of devs coming into the market based on the Bolt.news, the Lovable.devs, and these coding tools, and they're coming from them and they're getting to a point, kind of like, oh well, I've gotten here, but what do I do now? And I think a lot of them can make these micro SaaS apps and they can get there. And then also I want to be able to equip them with, if they don't end up becoming an entrepreneur or something, like maybe they don't build that thing. Maybe they just want to get a good job, or they want to get a better career, they want more free time, they want to be more remote. I want to try to group them into this community. I have a Discord there. I also want to, I'm probably going to make it private at some point. The reasoning is I would try to make it so that people that can come onto the Discord can share their thing, live stream. We can have people feedback on it. We can help them live. So I'm not doing that. I'm gonna try to build that community now. That's what the stream's for. Anybody can come here, hop into the Discord. I can help them with their issue. I can try to, if I get lost, then at least I get to learn something about it. And then also we can have people on stream try to help. And really, it's about people just. The hard part was for me when I was in their shoes was trying to find people in order to teach me so that I learned the right things and didn't waste my time like you just spent 30 minutes doing the raw OpenAI thing. I mean, not, you're a different case, but in the same, I want to save people time. It's like telling those people what to study. And so one thing that I've noticed is that when more of these people that are kind of coming into the market, and a lot of them younger, they are having trouble if they're shooting to get a job, they're not knowing how to use the tools like Git or working with another individual and not stepping on each other's toes and stuff like that. So those are the concepts I want to teach, just best practices and stuff. And then I'm gonna probably play video games and stuff sometimes. But no, welcome to the stream, man, or lady. Discord. Always, you gotta decipher where people's names come from. But yeah, if you want to rob some code, I definitely recommend this repo. I've compiled my latest stuff in here for LangGraph. Streaming, RAG, agents, multimodal. I got kid. that's kind of the ambition. Love him to death. There is a fire though. I think it comes in I think there's a lot of people I don't know. I'd say that it takes a programmer. There's a certain bit of fire in programmers to actually. I mean, I taught myself, and I think a lot of people are amazed by that. But it's no, I just was not good at school. I can sit online a long time. I'm doing that right now. But I was never I like meeting people and networking because I feel like it's a mutually beneficial thing. I don't know if the teacher has the experience of me teaching in some extent. I don't know. Maybe that was my affinity for not liking school. And yeah, I mean, ambitions is the world is the world. The world's the way it is, and we gotta take care of the ones we love at all costs. I really need to like look at this documentation. It's funny that there's like goldfish brain nowadays. I think definitely having a kid to kind of place that feeling like you're trying to find out where the time's going to come from. Okay, we have a query. We're going to pass that as a string. I think that's going to say like, who, I mean, I use this one all the time, who won the 2001 World Series from Arizona, so I gotta add that. And then we're going to do the model. I think that might be working. It's probably not going to even like this. Model, oh, we're going to need a comma. I mean, I can pull the one that's in the main file, out of the old main. Okay, let's see. I mean, I can start moving things across. I just wanted to see if this is going to work. Config dict. Config. Why are we getting? Cannot find import name config. Typing. Okay, because that's what. Because I needed to go find this import. Config dict. I'm still doing the same thing. I just kind of Sauce Cord and I have been talking a little bit. I'm still doing the same thing that I was doing before, Steven. I need to import the. Oh, what am I doing though? I am cannot find the import. Oh, it's because this. I am defining the what I need to pass into the API. It should be fixed now. Let's see. Created a lot of tabs. Let's just get rid of all of these. Yeah, that's not right. Ah, man, I don't want to do this. I do not want to use... So, like, the problem is that this is not, like, the API thing right here. It's just pulling this out of base message because that's what it's expecting, but that's not actually what I'm passing. I mean, it's because I'm not really even defining what a message is for it. I guess I could just remove base message and we could get a little bit cleaner with this and then we don't have to deal with all this. Problem is, it's still not going to give me a great like example. Pydantic field. I mean, this is how we should do this, actually. This is what we do. We're going to define a message. We're just going to keep this message base model. We're going to make this, we're going to have a role. It's going to be a string, which is pretty much all of these. We're going to have a content. It's going to be close. It says type. Thing is, I've seen it do both on the back end, to be honest, in LangGraph. But for now, we'll just stay with the type since they have type on the base message. What we could have done is we need to define a field onto this, and then we can define some defaults. So the default for this would be, human. I think that's what they call on the back end. Take this, we'll do the same thing over here. Also, cursor good for creating backend navigators. Yeah, I mean that's what it's like. You know, you can't use bolt.new in those to do that. I don't think, right? Who won the World Series? I mean, that's what we did last night. Was we created a backend. I mean, it's code editor too, so it's kind of like, yeah. But yeah, a code editor. Message. Let's see that. Message type. Thing is, you can do images, so maybe we do this. I'm not going to actually do this, but I'm going to at least prep it. So then, list, string. Making it as in messing around with bolt. Oh, still haven't read that one. Still haven't gotten around to making it and stuff on the. Oh, I got you. Yeah. I kind of got off track there for a minute. I need a field. I don't really need anything for this. We'll just do dot. I think there's probably some other stuff I need in fields, but I think that we can get away with this. I don't need this anymore.
I can do is a field here. This is a much better way to do this. I don't know why I was trying to do that for so long. I guess I could just pull this in. This is what I was starting to get like, alright, now I need to like an entity, I can config maybe inside of here. Big. We're gonna make a module in here. Oops. I'm gonna pull this back so that we can just like define some constants in here. And pull this up here. Import OS. Okay, so now we can just pull all of these out of there. Make this a bit cleaner. My service. I kind of want to pull these back too, because we're gonna. That's like I'm kind of stripping this down now because we're gonna now pull it into our actual AI API. I guess I really do need to test if we fix our issue over here. That looks good. See, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. We still don't have the example for the model. Oh, okay, because I haven't filled it in, and that's because I wanted to use from config. From source.config, and we're going to do the import, and we're going to grab the default model. And that should now give us, boom, our default model there. That looks good. I think we're getting somewhere. Alright, cool. So then now we should be able to call this and see this get ran. You did it, bud. Okay, that looks good. And we see our messages. Perfect. And those all got passed. Great. Okay, so now we can pass everything in. And now this is why I wanted to deconstruct things, is because we are going to take the LLM, maybe we'll just start pulling these back. LLM. Go LLM. Here. And here. Holding. Oh, I'll need to move all of those back into, excuse me, into the config. From source.config, import model in that model and Anthropic API, and then we need to pull in the actual this, call that, just make this easy. We'll say chat model, just make this into a function, and then we can just, if this grows to something else, we can have this work that way. But internally, it'll just say like, yep, and then it'll just return the LLM. Then we'll just go with those as the model, those, perfect. So now we can, in our main file, we're going to start getting our LLM in place. So we're going to say LLM, I want to, where did I just put it in here, right? Chat model. Okay, so we need to call chat model. So we need to get chat model out of there. And then we're going to grab that from source utils, import chat model. Okay, it seems like that didn't really come in correctly. Is that because it needs to be LLM? Yes, I probably could have just put that into a module file, but that's fine for now. Let's see. We have our LLM now. We're going to now call this LLM. Oh wait, no, we don't need to even call this LM. It's all static because this is all generated. I need to actually pull these into the config file because these are loading the environment variables. We need to call load.env. So now that it will load the environment variables from here, now we can remove this. I don't need. I'm kind of like removing stuff from this file, even though I'm not going to use this file anymore. Just because I want to make sure that I'm getting all of the things that I need out of this. But what happens is when this gets queried, we're going to start constructing these, but we need to also define what is going to be in our chatbot. We've already defined that. Chat model. Yes, this is what's going to go into the graph. That's right. We're going to need to grab the builder. And we're going to pass it the LLM. And you're going to go grab this from the source chatbot. I think that's what I even have it as. Import chatbot builder. Is that what it is? Chatbot builder. That's what I want. Okay, so I've got all those in there now. I've passed it the LLM as the model. We'll say model just to make it nice and clean. Then, graph. I mean, I think that's pretty much it. You can add all these in there too. I mean, this is kind of the whole purpose of this too, though. So we need to return all of this, but let's just make it flat. So here's the graph, visualize graph. I need to go ahead and pull this in. I don't really need this, so I might just take this out, comment it out for now. But at least it's here. Comment that out. And that should be not the last piece. We just need to grab this. And we need to invoke the graph. We need to say the answer, result. We'll say results, and then we'll filter down and call it the answer. This is going to take in the messages, and this is going to be off of query. So query.messages, or is it going to be? I think it's query.messages. Yeah, that works. Query.messages, and then model. I mean, again, let's just make this dynamic. I mean, like. Yeah, let's make this dynamic. String. That way, you don't even need this here. And then it all just comes in through the API. And we don't actually have to define it anywhere. We're going to take this out for now. I mean, it does say hello world. I'll just leave it so people know they're getting there. Query messages, results, and then we need to get the messages. So we have results, and we have the answer. So results. What does it even come out to though? That was the thing, is I can't remember. I mean, I think that's we're gonna have to return the result and then look at it. But it's gonna be all. Is it results? Messages? I think that's what it is. Yeah, it's results messages. Yeah, that's what it is. And then we're going to go -1, and then it's going to go dot content, I believe. I feel like that's what it was. And now, so the model should be getting passed in here, so we should be able to do query.model as well. I mean, this should be it. It doesn't have a system message in here, but it's gonna work anyways. Let's see, convert to message. Oh, we don't have it into, okay. We do need to convert these to a human message. Interesting, messages. Okay, I don't like this. I'm actually doing this the wrong way. What I need is I only need this. Query. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go this way. This is how I did it. I think this is actually how I'm doing it in my current application. Is we just have query actually. And then this is going to have like an images array on it. This is exactly what I do. Okay, so let's go fix this. Yeah, it's funny. I'm gonna have to like do this like 3 or 4 times. Now that I'm like doing this raw by myself, it's a lot more. It's a lot different. I'm trying to remember how like just being common sense for like programming. This is a string. I don't need that anymore. I don't even need this no more. It simplifies things so much. Like look at that. That's all we got now. The query is now who on the 2001 series. That way, yeah, I don't need this. I don't think. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's basically all I needed. Refresh. Take that. What's that through? I mean, what did you get? No messages. Yeah, because something's changed. What did I do wrong? There's no messages in here anymore. I know that. Attribute query. Is it because messages? Okay, because I need to put messages on. Okay, so what happens is in here, we need a human message. And that's where I'm going to go get this LangGraph from LangGraph, LangChain core.messages, import human message. We're going to stick the human message here, and then we're going to give it some content, and that is going to be our payload, maybe? I think that's probably going to be a better name for that. Naming things is the hardest part of programming. Payload. Where'd you go? Payload. Payload. And payload. I guess I could use request, but I like this better. Payload dot query. Oh, I think that should be all. Fingers crossed. Seems like it's working. Boom. Cool. We got it. So, we successfully coded ourselves an AI LangGraph chat API endpoint from scratch. I mean, I think I think if I did this again, I could do it much faster. I think now that I've done it, I kind of like realize I know all the steps, and I just need to like kind of lay in the code. I'm going to kind of copy some, but this is like effectively everything that I would have needed. We have the chat model get defined. We have the builder get defined in order to define what config variables we want to pass to the graph. We compile the graph. We say if we want it to debug or not. We then pass in the messages. We could have applied a system message here as well, and it would have been able to get passed. We could apply a system message. I mean, we can just add that real quick. Should be fairly easy. Call it system, a string, and we'll just make it something like, hey, you are a helpful assistant that talks like a pirate. You are a helpful assistant that talks like a pirate. Now, we can go back, and now we could technically pass in a system message.
work that in with these. Honestly, I might have to go redo this again just to like see if I can how fast I can do it. I think it'd be better for a stream. I mean, I'll probably chop this one up, but that's pretty interesting. I mean, that all works. Let's test this one out now. We gotta see if it talks like a pirate. Yep. Cool. So I think that accomplishes it for the stream. Let's back this up to GitHub because we're going to want to evolve this project, and I think people would like to be able to utilize this. So I'm going to delete the old delete the old one. Yep. We're going to add a git ignore, and we're going to add env. We're going to do .env, make sure none of those go. We're going to add a .env example. It's going to have a Anthropic API key in here. We're telling it to ignore all those files. We also want to ignore all the Python cache files. I think that should be pretty much it. But then, whoops, we need a README. We definitely need a README. README. This is this. We coded LangGraph chat API chat LangGraph chat built with FastAPI, built on FastAPI. To run this, you just need to run the following commands. You're going to uv env, you're going to uv pip install -r requirements .txt, and then you're just going to Python main this thing. Oh, you do need to edit your don't forget to add your Anthropic API key to the .env file. And you can possibly do that by copy .example.env to env. If that's all you need. And then you gotta edit it. Edit env. Create virtual env. Install. That should be all you need. We're going to tell everybody about this Twitch stream. Twitch stream. Boom. I think that's all we're going to need. Let's go ahead and go to GitHub and create a new project. I honestly think, eggs chat. Ooh, yeah, I need to fix that. Eggs chat. Best AI you've ever seen. Bro. Eggs chat. Create. And we will do a new one of these. We'll do a get init. We'll go over here. We'll do a get remote add. We'll do a get a committa. Get a atta. Get a committa. It's the init. We're gonna get a push. It's gonna say that. We're going to do a dash U, a dash origin, and do a master, and that's going to be the end of the stream. I'm not the Primogen.